kicking off the summer with a sizzling celebration. It's all coming up next. Hi, I'm Alan Smith. Welcome to Garden to Table. We're celebrating summer. You know, it's one of my favorite seasons, as long as you can spend time outdoors before it gets too hot. In today's show, we're going to talk pineapple, how to pick them, how to cut them, and how to roast them. Yes, I said roast them, and trust me, you'll love it. Then we'll prepare a thirst-quenching punch that's perfect for those hot summer nights. I'll share a grilled greens recipe and a fantastic avocado salsa turkey bacon burger. Yes, I know, my mouth is watering too. We'll get to those recipes in just a bit, but first, we all know about creating sugar from sugar cane. But what about sugar from the sun? At the Garfield Park Conservatory in Chicago, they have a massive garden where the main focus is just that. Robin Klein tells us all about this amazing place.
My name is Robin Klein. I am the Assistant Director of Programs and Interpretation here at the Garfield Park Conservatory. We're standing in the middle of the conservatory in one of our newest rooms, Sugar from the Sun. Sugar from the Sun is a room that we designed to really showcase for folks the miracle that plants are. I think we see plants around us all the time and we're not really aware of all the amazing things that they're doing. Like right now, we're standing in the middle of this room and plants are making sugar. You get to see what the plants did with a lot of their sugar. They sunk it into their fruits. So this is where a lot of plants store their sugar, is in the fruits of their trees. So here's a plant that a lot of people actually probably thought did grow on trees, but actually grows straight from the ground, kind of on its own little pedestal, the pineapple plant. Pineapples grow out, and this is the pineapple in its early stage of growth, and it'll probably get to about here as long as it can balance on top of its area for long enough. We have a lot of the tropical fruits that people think of when they think of plants that are at conservatories. But one of the things that we're really, really happy to have is a vanilla orchid. And recently our vanilla orchid actually fruited, and we were able to get lots of fruit from our vanilla orchid. And you can see them up there, banana-shaped pods that when they dry, they turn into these sort of brown pods. And on the inside, you'll see these tiny, tiny little seeds. And a lot of people will recognize these from when they get French vanilla ice cream, you see those little brown seeds in your ice cream. One of my favorite flavors, which is cinnamon, actually comes straight from the bark of a tree. So we have a cinnamon tree here. The flavor that we know, that spicy, yummy flavor that goes in our cinnamon rolls, actually comes from the ground up bark of the cinnamon tree. Another tree that we actually eat different plant parts from is the chewing gum tree. When people originally discovered chewing gum, or when they chewed gum in its original form, it was coming from the sap of the chewing gum tree, and we have a chewing gum tree here as well. There are other parts of plants that we commonly eat that aren't part of the fruit of the tree. There's sugar cane, which is actually the stem of the plant. When we're eating sugar, we're actually eating juice that's been squeezed out of the stem of a plant. The fact that plants are taking the energy from the sun and turning it into chemical energy, what an amazing miracle it is.
Like most fruits and vegetables, pineapples are better for you when they're fresh. But hey, who has a pineapple farm growing in their backyard? I've never grown a pineapple like this. I've grown some small ones, but more for decorative purposes. They're a beautiful plant. The only place that you can grow them in the United States is, well, Hawaii. They're also grown in places like Indonesia, Costa Rica, and Brazil. When choosing pineapples in the market, you want to go for one that's ripe. And the best way to determine whether it's ripe or not is that you want to be able to smell that distinct pineapple aroma toward the bottom of the fruit in this area. Also, you want to make sure that the pineapple is firm, but not hard as a rock. So let's say you pick the perfect pineapple, but it's not completely ripe. Well, you can just leave it out in the kitchen on the counter and it will slowly ripen. Once you're ready to cut the pineapple, there are a few ways to go about it. What I like to do is just take off the top, like this, and the bottom. And then I simply cut it into quarters, first by halving it, and half it again right through the core, and then I half it one more time like that. You see, what I'm trying to do is come up with pieces that are about this size. So I'm gonna cut them one more time. It smells so good, it's very juicy. And then to take off the outer skin is just to stand it up on the edge like that and press the knife downward. There you go. As you want to cut this core out, you can see it's slightly fibrous. You can just trim it off like that. So now I have these ready for the recipe a little later in the show. I know I say this about every month, but June is probably my favorite. All that frenetic craziness of spring is over, most things are planted, and the heat of summer really hasn't rolled in. It's a month of leisure, well, almost. There's still a lot to do in the vegetable garden, and there's some things that you can do to sort of prepare for fall. Now, if you haven't gotten those warm season vegetables planted, now's the time to do it. You see young starts of tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, cucumber, and squash can be planted now. You see, the danger of frost is certainly well past. And this should be done without any delay, especially if you live in a region where summer is short. Even though summer has begun, it's not too early to start planting your fall vegetable garden. When your berries start coming in, freeze them for use during the winter. Spread the berries in a single layer on a cookie sheet and place a cookie sheet in the freezer. Once the berries have frozen, toss them into an airtight bag and store it in your freezer. This works for blackberries, blueberries, and raspberries. You know, there's something about the taste of lemon that just reminds me of summer. I love to take lemon-flavored herbs and infuse foods with that lemony taste. For instance, tea, lemon balm is perfect. You can also use lemon verbena for tea, but also you can make delicious glazes as well as sauces. To create a simple and delicious recipe using both of these herbs, try this Sunshine Lemon Herb Punch. Simply peel and core half of a large pineapple and cut it into 1-inch chunks. Place them in a glass pitcher and add a 46-ounce can of pineapple juice, 1/3 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice, nine lemon balm leaves, and 3 stalks of lemon verbena. Chill this mixture overnight, then remove the whole herbs and add 4 ounces of ginger ale, 1/8 cup of sweetened lime juice, and 3 lemons thinly sliced into rounds. Then just pour it into glasses and garnish with a slice of lemon and enjoy. Romaine is a variety of lettuce that can make a great combination in the garden and on your plate. Romaine is classic for Caesar salads. Leaves are upright with white hearts. Now think about dill, a fabulous herb. You see, it's a great seed-saving plant. Once it flowers to seed, the plant will die. To make a tasty and low-fat treat utilizing both romaine lettuce and dill, just start with 1 head of romaine lettuce, some olive oil, salt, and black pepper. Simply rinse off the whole head of romaine. Now liberally coat it with olive oil and sprinkle coarse salt and black pepper on it. And then place it on the hot side of a grill. Grill it for just 2 or 3 minutes until each side is slightly charred. Then for the dressing, you'll need a 1/2 cup of reduced fat mayonnaise, 1/3 cup of chopped green onions, and 1 clove of garlic, 1 tablespoon of minced fresh dill, 1/2 cup of non-fat plain yogurt, 3 tablespoons of tarragon vinegar, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and some freshly ground pepper to taste. Add all ingredients to the blender or food processor and combine until well mixed. Then dress your grilled romaine, and this is a delicious dish you'll surely enjoy. Grilling is a big part of summer activities, and cleaning your grill is an important step. Let me show you what I did in the spring to prep the grill. I have to say that my grill is one of the most beloved and used things out here at my place. I can't tell you how many times I've had groups of people just in this little area alone. We've had a fabulous time. So lots of fond memories around the grill. But you know, before the season gets kicked off, there are a few things I like to do. And what I was going to do is just point out some tools that I like to have on hand. I always like to have a slatted spatula. A little toothed edge is kind of nice to be able to scrape things across. Also, a fork is essential. And I found these tongs, which I think are really cool because you can pull this piece on the handle like this and it locks them in place, or you can push it in and it opens up. Pretty cool, huh? And the other thing is that I like to have out here by the grill is a device for cleaning, something that has a brush as well as an abrasive pad on it is really handy. And then getting in between the grates of the grill with this is really great to have. So just a couple things to think of. Now, if you don't have a grill that's self-starting, just some things to keep in mind. I found these a few years ago. They're really great. They're little fire starter packs, and there's no petroleum used here. They replace lighter fluid, so you don't have to worry about your hamburger tasting like lighter fluid. I don't know if you've ever experienced that before, but I have. And then to actually light something, these little starters are really good to have at hand. Now, the other thing that I'm trying to do this time of year is get in here and clean my grill up. You can see I didn't do such a good job at the end of the grilling season last year, so I'm going to have to do some extra work to get this one in shape. But one thing you might want to think about that makes it much more efficient and actually easy to do, I always like to use gloves, is to take up some of these grates like this, and to get the grunge off of them, I'll just use an ordinary oven cleaner, and it works really well. And I lay out newspaper, as you can see here, and then I take the oven cleaner and spray it down. And I take every grate off and let that foam do its work. Now with this oven cleaner, as you may know, it takes about 45 minutes, or they recommend that. So you want to leave this for a while. This one I pulled out just to show you how it'll take the grunge off. So all you want to do is let it set up for about 45 minutes, and it'll start peeling this stuff back. You know, we have a lot of celebrations out here at the farm with lots of people, but sometimes it's nice just to kick back with a few folks, like my brother and sister-in-law. They're coming over later. What I'm making is one of the favorites around here. It's avocado salsa turkey bacon burger. You won't believe it. It'll knock the ball right out of the park. And it's really easy to make. Let me show you how. We're going to start with the salsa first. Now what you want to start with are 3 avocados, and I already have 2 in here. And what you want to do is just split them in half, and then take a knife and just gently pull the knife through the flesh like that once you remove the seed, and then dice it back this way. This makes it really easy because you want the salsa to have the diced avocados, and I'm telling you, these are dead ripe and they're so delicious. And you just want to push that avocado out like that. See those cubes? And then I've got one more here. Notice how I'm just pulling the knife across, and you just gently push the knife into the skin. Cuts like butter. and then just push it out like that. Oh, so good. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the same number of tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, take the seeds out, and add 3 Roma tomatoes to this. Next, I want you to take 2 scallions or green onions and chop them up very finely, the white and the green together. They go in. Next comes the garlic, minced, 2 cloves. Then cilantro, 1 tablespoon, finely minced. And of course, I want you to use fresh, and if you grew it yourself, you even get extra points. And then 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Just pour that over. All right, now heat it up just a little bit. Some Tabasco sauce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's really all you need. This stuff will set you on fire and set you free. And then just a bit of salt, about a half a teaspoon. And then what you want to do is just mix this together gently, because again, you want that texture of those avocados to remain and not get too mushy. Look at that. So gently just fold it around and integrate all of those lovely flavors. Now it's time to start on the burger. Now let's move all of this out of the way. Put the salsa here. Don't touch that until the burger's ready. Like this. There's our cilantro. And then let me show you how you do this. This is really fun. Start with 1 pound of ground turkey, and then take a 1/4 cup of dried breadcrumbs and sprinkle it all across the turkey like that. Next, add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then take 1½ tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And then the secret ingredient, it's a Greek seasoning. It's really good. You're going to take 1 tablespoon of. And then what you want to do is take this and work this all together. This is the fun part. You want to integrate all those breadcrumbs and all those seasonings in with that turkey. The breadcrumbs serve as a binder that help hold the burger together. Nothing so healthy smells so good. Now this recipe makes 4, so what I'm doing is equally dividing the meat into 4 patties. And just make the patties like this. 1. See, these are nice sized patties. No skimpy burgers around here. 2, 3. All right, there we go. Now it's off to the grill. This takes essentially no time to do. What I like to do is cook these burgers on a grill. To cook these burgers for about 5 to 6 minutes on one side and 3 to 4 minutes on the other side. You know, grills vary, so bear that in mind. Just resist the urge to flip the burgers. You want them to cook on one side and then the other. Someone very wise told me a long time ago, don't overflip your burgers. So you just get it on one side and then flip it over. You're done, you add the cheese, the toasted bun, and you're ready to eat. Just put it on these whole wheat buns. Now I'm gonna take some jalapeno cheese, apply the cheese to the turkey. All right, now back to the kitchen. All right, so here we go. Now what's next is just take one of the burgers, place it on here like this. Now before I started the salsa, I actually took some peppered turkey bacon and cooked it. So on top of that jalapeno cheese, I'm just gonna add some turkey bacon and then just add a big dollop of this wonderful salsa that goes right on top. And it's chunky and creamy and so good. And one of the reasons that I had you make so much salsa is that you were going to want to eat the rest of this with these chips. And there you have it. I hope you'll try my avocado salsa turkey bacon burger. I'm going to plate up the rest of these burgers and get the show on the road. Setting a table for a summer celebration doesn't have to be elaborate. Just think simple. A beautiful centerpiece doesn't always involve plants or flowers. In this case, I simply used a 2x4 with a few tea lights. All you need is a 2x4 board, the appropriate length for your table, some tea lights, a drill with a 1.5-inch spade bit, and wood stain. Place a tea light on the board where you want to drill a hole and trace the outside. Repeat this process down the board wherever you want the tea light to be positioned. Then take your drill and spade bit and drill the holes inside the traced areas. Now you don't want to go all the way through the board, so be sure to check every so often to see if the hole is deep enough and that the tea light is level with the top of the hole once you've drilled it. Once the holes are ready and the sawdust is removed from the board, use any color of wood stain you like to complete the look. Just brush the stain or paint and wipe it off with an old rag. You can repeat the staining process as many times as you want, depending on how light or dark you want the centerpiece to be. After the board is dried, you can set the tea lights in the holes and place it down the center of your table along with your place settings, and you're good to go. I don't know what the deal is this year, but the wasps seem to be everywhere. And I don't know about you, but I'm a live and let live kind of guy, but when it comes to wasps, I don't know. They sting and they hurt. So I want them out of my life. Here are a couple of ways that will help you make sure there are no wasps around. First thing I want to show you is a repellent, which is really easy to make. All you need is a spray bottle like this. What's great about this recipe is it's all natural. It's water and peppermint oil. You see, wasps hate peppermint oil. So what you want to do is you just want to take 1 tablespoon of peppermint oil to 4 cups of water. You can spray this directly onto the wasp's nest, and you're like going, yeah, okay, when am I going to do that? Because you don't want to get stung. Well, spray them when they're sort of drowsy or asleep. So spray them at night or in the very early morning. And what you'll find is that peppermint oil, by the way, this smells really good, peppermint oil will kill the larvae, the eggs, and the adults. And they hate the aroma of this so badly that they will not return back to the nest. Now let me show you how to make a wasp trap. All you need is a 2-liter bottle. And what you're going to do is you're going to invert the top of the 2-liter bottle like this. So let me show you. I've already started this one. You simply cut it, cut the top 1/5 off of it, like this, all the way around. Ta-da! And then this gets placed like this. And then you just simply take some duct tape. Who can live without duct tape? Just take some duct tape around the top, just like that, okay? Now, the idea is that you pour a liquid in here that attracts the wasps. They follow it down into here, and they can't get out, and they die floating around in whatever liquid you use. Now, I'm making a simple syrup, which is so simple, you'll always be able to remember this recipe. It's actually 1 cup of boiling water to 1 cup of sugar. And when this goes into solution, all you want to do is allow that to cool, and it will look like this. And then you simply pour it in to the wasp trap like that. You don't have to use it all up, that's plenty. You can also use beer. Yes, wasps are attracted to beer, but this you can make, keep in the refrigerator, attract the wasp and kill them there if they're flying around and bothering you. Now you remember that pineapple that I was talking about earlier? Well, let me show you how to turn that into a delicious dessert. And just imagine this roasted pineapple with some vanilla ice cream. This recipe is so easy and delicious, and why wouldn't it be? Because you're using fresh pineapple. You want to mix 1 cup of orange juice with 1/4 cup of honey. And what you want to do to make sure that all these flavors meld together is you want to heat this up. So what I'm going to do is get the honey in here, and then I'm going to whisk it together. And then what you'll do is you'll pop this in the microwave for about 15 or 20 seconds just to warm it up. All right? And then what you do is you take the pineapple pieces, those wedges, and just lay them in a shallow dish like this. The idea is to pour this honey and orange juice solution over the top, let it rest for about 30 minutes, and turn the pieces of pineapple so they soak up the juices. The next thing you want to do is just lift these out and place them on a sheet pan with parchment paper. It'll take 2 of these sheet pans because what we have are 2 pineapples cut up here. Now you want to make sure you save any of this extra juice because that's going to come in handy later. Then in a preheated 450-degree oven, place both the pans, and what you want to do is let them roast for 5 minutes and then rotate them. Take the bottom one, pull it to the top rack, and vice versa with the top to the bottom. Let them cook a total of 10 minutes and then pull them out of the oven when they're piping hot. Now what you want to do here is you want to drizzle the remaining juice. You want to heat it up and pour it over the hot pineapple and serve it warm. This will serve about 8 people. You know, this pineapple is delicious, served as a dessert, or you can serve it with grilled pork chops or chicken. It's really good. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I hope you picked up a few ideas that you can enjoy this summer. Get out there and plant those gardens because you'll reap big rewards. Until next time, good eating and good health. Hi, I'm Alan Smith. Welcome to Garden to Table. Today's show is all about it's healthy and delicious. It's avocados. Wow. Okay. Avocado rain dance. Okay. Oh, I'm loving this rain. Sorry, I gotta try this. I just couldn't resist. And you won't be able to either.
Alan, we still didn't get the pretty shot.
Sorry. It's so good.